You're fired!
I recently made a poll asking if I should make a video about the last WWE releases, and surprisingly, a lot of you voted yes. Not like you had another choice to begin with, but here are my thoughts about it and overall corporate greed. Okay, let's get started. In late April and early May, it was announced that a good number of wrestlers were being released from WWE. Some from the main roster, others from NXT, and even some from their LFG show. Here you can see a full list of the names. To be completely transparent, I was barely watching anymore when most of these were active on the main roster, except from clips that popped on my timeline from time to time, or show reviews on YouTube from some content creators. And I never really watched NXT or LFG, so I'm not really familiar with those names. Because of this, I don't have much to say about specific releases besides some of them being extremely surprising because I know a lot of them were still being featured on TV not even that long ago. So if I had to pick the ones that shocked me the most, it would be Alesteir Black, as he had just rejoined WWE a year ago after leaving AEW, and I thought he was going to get some sort of mid-card push since he was being featured on some stories from what I have read. And also Kairi Sane, since she seemed a bit more of an established talent in the middle of a storyline as well. I'm not counting the New Day since they left on their own terms, but them leaving was also very surprising. WWE releases seem to be a post-WrestleMania tradition by now, even right after reporting and bragging about their record gates as usual. It just literally makes no sense. You would think that all that profit and sponsors money from all those ads would be enough, but nope. It's like they must save as much money as they can. Just look at their current use of AI slop. Allegedly, it was reported that these releases were done because their roster was too big, they didn't have established long-term plans for their creative, and ultimately for budget cuts, of course. Because the salary of TKO's top executives doesn't seem to be enough, neither are their recently disclosed profits, which you can pause the video here if you want to take a look at those numbers. It just sucks because they're the ones who put these wrestlers in those storylines in the first place, and if anyone is to blame for any sort of creative failure, I believe it should be WWE. As expected, the fan reaction was very intense. There was a lot of outrage on social media with a lot of WWE fans starting trends like hashtag we want Kairi, and to be completely honest, I have mixed feelings about this. Advocating for someone to go back is a bit weird to me, especially for some wrestlers that have been fired twice already. It just reminds me of when you go back to your toxic ex over and over after they dump you. Why would you want someone to go back to a place that didn't want them in the first place? It may sound petty, but that's my opinion as someone who isn't a fan of current WWE and can see a bigger picture. There were rumors that Kairi was going to return for Backlash, but she didn't, so it looks like she is actually gone from the company. These wrestlers can thrive in another company, and if you really care about seeing them, you can still follow them and support them no matter where they go. It's really not the end of the world just because they're not in WWE. Another trend I saw online was people tagging and hoping that Tony Khan would just hire them all as soon as he can. And as much as I hate to see someone lose their job, I don't think that's the right solution either. I'm sure most of them are great wrestlers and performers and can shine given the right opportunity, but the AEW roster is already extremely stacked, and because of this, some wrestlers aren't even featured that often. In my opinion, if Tony Khan offers a contract to any of them, he needs to be very selective, especially when it comes to hiring someone who will just run back to WWE in a heartbeat given the opportunity. Whoever gets a contract offer should actually want to be part of the company, go all in, yes, pun intended, and help it grow. That being said, there has been a lot of teasing from the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and other members of AEW regarding the New Day being all elite, as well as a lot of fans wanting to see Motor City Machine Guns in the company. I believe AEW's tag division has been great lately, and having those new additions could lead to very fun and cool matches. As if all the noise surrounding the releases wasn't enough, a few days after the announcement, it was revealed that allegedly some wrestlers were taking pay cuts to stay in the company and having their contracts restructured as well. Till this day, it has been kind of funny reading all the theories on who these wrestlers could be, taking all the clues given by the dirt sheets, which should be taken with a grain of salt, of course, but I have a few candidates myself, which I won't put on blast on this video. Feel free to let me know about your theories on who may they be in the comments. And I won't pretend to know what their personal experience is, but I believe that taking a pay cut of 50% less money sets a really bad precedent. It just tells TK TKO that wrestlers will eventually fall and they can keep getting away with it in the future. I know people still blame Hulk Hogan for snitching on wrestlers trying to make a union, but that was decades ago and the guy is not even with us anymore. So I don't think him was the sole reason of why unionizing wasn't a thing. You had Selena Vega tweet this just to delete it as soon as she got hired back into the big leagues. I hate that term, by the way. The reality is that a lot of people get complacent with shitty jobs and shitty pay, and I know they have a family to support, but if me, a nobody, was able to quit multiple jobs that I was miserable in with full uncertainty of how I was going to survive, I feel like they can too. They're extremely talented people with a lot of connections, and I believe that they can make it work. That's why it was so refreshing seeing Kofi Kingston say this after parting ways with WWE. Do not ever compromise or accept less than you're due when it comes to your worth. Find the courage to believe in yourself and fearlessly pursue your goals and dreams, because anything is possible. I always share the exact same sentiment with people I know in real life that are always complaining about how much they are not satisfied with their job, how they feel underappreciated and underpaid above all. We simply need to start betting on ourselves. Unfortunately, all this corporate greed isn't exclusive to wrestling, because in recent years, specifically, I've seen countless of gaming studios either completely shut down or lay off hundreds of staff members because their game flopped or because they're making slightly less revenue. It's always the majority of workers suffering the consequences instead of the people at the top when projects fail. And if you truly want to make a difference, instead of just complaining on social media and automatically consume the next low effort product like an NPC, like a lot of outreach people did online regarding the releases, we just went on to live tweet SmackDown later that same night. Clearly no shame at all. We need to stop watching, stop buying, stop consuming. And this isn't just about WWE, because this is how we can hurt these companies, whether it's movies, TV shows, video games, and so on. I know one single person may not seem like they can make a lot of impact or too much difference, but if a lot of us do it, who knows, it might. We need to learn to not give our hard-earned money to companies that don't try to make an effort to put out a good product and that don't appreciate their consumers. I know all companies have flaws and are greedy, but you can start with something that you care about and are invested in. For example, a few things I've stopped doing, even if they're small, is that I've stopped buying video games from certain studios and publishers, stopped watching movies and shows from certain IPs, and of course, I've stopped watching WWE. All this after being extremely disappointed and feeling practically scammed. But oh well, enough of me ranting. I know I went a bit off topic, but I just wanted to get all these ideas out there because they've been on my mind for a while, and I thought this was a great opportunity to express them. This isn't an anti-capitalism stance or for you to quit your job because Fran the Heel on YouTube told you to do it, but mostly as a reminder to know your worth and to spend your money on things that are also worthy. But that's it for today, guys. Let me know in the comments your thoughts about the releases, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you enjoy it. And if you didn't like the video, do it anyways. Until next time, see ya.